So I was sent a reel today by a friend, and in the reel it was Brian Cox talking about the meaning of life. And he said if humans were to vanish from the Milky Way, assuming that there's nobody else in the Milky Way, just us humans, and we were to vanish, completely go away, the Milky Way would be devoid of meaning because human beings are meaning makers. We construct meaning, we need meaning, everything about us constructs meaning. And that would be violating the universe because we would take away meaning from the universe. So I just want to say that, number one, the universe doesn't care. The universe is billions of light years across, and it just does not give a rat's ass about how much meaning we create. Um, it is cold. It is indifferent. It doesn't care what we create and what we don't create. It just doesn't care. It's indifferent. Secondly, it's what I want to draw attention to what Peter Zapfa discussed. He discussed consciousness, human consciousness, and the way we distract ourselves from human consciousness and from the kind of emptiness and existential dread we fall into if we don't have these distractions. So he talked about isolation, distraction, sublimation, and anchoring. And each one of those things is something human beings do to suppress basically existential dread, the fact that there is no meaning to life. We I can explain each one if you want. So isolation is basically suppressing thoughts and ideas and feelings that bring up uncomfortable feelings in us, right? So things like suppressing the idea of death, that could be isolation. Anchoring is when we look to things like family and religion, and hobbies, things that not necessarily hobbies, and some of these things overlap, but family, religion to kind of anchor us and keep us away from thinking about existential dread, about meaninglessness in life. Sublimation is where you create artwork, you produce things to get you away from bad thoughts and feelings. So writing an essay or writing poetry, things like that, to get you away from the bad things in life or thinking about the bad things in life. And what was the other one? Distraction. That's like hobbies, like gardening, gardening, fishing, just distracting yourselves with things that keep you distracted, basically. And these four things by Peter Zapfa kind of overlap. They kind of they're not mutually exclusive, is what I'm trying to say. They overlap. So the meaning we create is really just falls into those four categories of things that pull us away from what's really going on with consciousness, right? So you have to wonder, what kind of meaning is it if it's something we have to distract ourselves from, something we have to get away from, like the core truth, the base of life. If we have to get away from it with those four things: isolation, distraction, anchoring, and sublimation, we're pulling ourselves away from a kind of truth that is life. So what does meaning mean, right? I think it's an important question. And I'd also like to talk about David Benatar's spatial and temporal reach. So in life, we have terrestrial meaning. That nobody's denying that, right? Through the 4 points that Peter Zapfa discussed, we create meaning. So we have terrestrial meaning. And meaning can be two things. Meaning can be meaning to other people, or meaning can be meaning to yourself, self-fulfillment. Meaning to yourself is easy because it's just you doing something that fulfills you internally, right? So again, gardening could be one of those things. Fishing, you name it, right? Those types of things that give you yourself meaning. And then there's meaning that you create with other people. So if you mean something to other people, you have more meaning, right? You mean something to other people. And the more you can mean to more people, the bigger your meaning is, right? But that's where we're limited. So David Benatar would say that we're limited in our in our spatial and temporal reach, in that we can only mean something to people so far ahead into time and so far back into time. Once you're gone, and you will be forgotten. No one's going to remember you, and all that meaning you created just disappears, right? So that's temporal reach. And then there's basically spatial reach. Can you mean something to all of the planet Earth? No, you can't, and most of us never will. We won't even come we won't even come close to meaning anything to the rest of the planet, right? We just exist in this relatively isolated way with our family members and our friends, and that's about it. We don't have a huge spatial reach, and this is kind of mirroring the empirical asymmetry with knowledge and ignorance in Benatar's book as well, where there's so much in the universe to know that we'll never know all of it. We only know a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what there is in the universe. So the empirical asymmetry is between vast amounts of information that we have no clue about, and things that the little tiny bit that we know. And so we'll never satisfy that gap. We just never will. Any human being just can't satisfy that gap. I could see AI getting kind of close to it, but a human being, I don't think so. So it's the same with spatial reach and meaning. The vast amount of people in the world that there are will never know, and they'll never know us. And the world population keeps going up and up and up, and we just don't know those people, and they'll never know us. So it's just a small, relatively isolated group of people that we have meaning to. So saying that the universe will miss our meaning if we cease to exist in the universe or in the Milky Way is not saying much at all. Now, we have more meaning than a dog has meaning. We definitely have more meaning than a dog or a monkey or whatever. And that is a significant jump. But a significant jump only compared to the dog or the monkey. Like, we don't have all that much meaning compared to the universe. We simply don't matter in the vastness of the universe. We don't even, and going back to knowing, we don't even know if what we know is called actual knowing. Like, what is actually knowing? That goes back to Kant's phenomenal and noumenal. How do we know what we know is actually knowing things, right? We don't know that. So if we don't even know that, like, how is the meaning we create in the universe going to be missed by anything or anyone? Because we don't even know we don't know what we know. So it's just one of those philosophical puzzles, I guess. But yeah, I just want to say, if human beings were to disappear from the Milky Way, nobody would miss us. Nobody would care, and nobody would miss us. We have no meaning. We have no meaning whatsoever. None. Zero. So yeah, that's basically my my sunny video for today. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye.